What's up? It's your boy Phil, back with another episode of the Fourth and
Whatever
podcast. Shout out to the boy Woody, man. This show wouldn't be nothing without my guy.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, so let's get straight into it. The OG sponsor of the show, of the podcast, is Ansha. You feel me? Ansha means one nail, sun healed all. And when you say Ansha, I bet you didn't know you were speaking Japanese.
Pardon me.
But you're speaking Japanese, and it means pardon. You feel me? So what does it mean to be pardoned? It means that you have been forgiven for something we know you did wrong.
Okay, talk to him.
We know you did wrong.
Okay.
But in the government side, when you get a pardon, that means you getting a second chance. Everything's wiped clean, and you get to move into living your life again. So in the same way, Jesus, essentially, when he forgave us from going to the cross, taking the punishment we deserve, and then rising from the grave, we got a pardon. We got a new chance at life if we place faith in him. You feel me?
Okay, what did it do for us?
Hey, it gives us power to elevate our soul because we've been elevated by him. And now, in the eyes of God, I'm seen as a son of God. You feel me?
Talk to him then, big dog.
Hey, look. So, if we have been given so much, it's only right that we give back, right?
Absolutely.
So with Ansha, every time somebody orders a product, they place an order. The entire order, we give 10% back to Feeding America to help the kids who don't have food to eat. We want to make sure we take care of the babies.
Hey, and that's big. That's big. And I say this every podcast. I love that your company does it.
It's only right, bro.
Just because there are kids out there who are less fortunate than we are.
Without a doubt.
And so being able to give back just a smidge, not even a lot, a smidge of what you're doing speaks volumes.
Got to, bro.
Not only does it speak volumes for you, but it speaks volumes for your company.
Straight up.
And so I love that for you, man. Thank you so much for really investing in those kids that are less fortunate.
Yeah, for sure. Got to.
So jumping into the second sponsor, this is the second episode with our second sponsor. And again, this one really hits home for me. It's out of Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock?
My guy from Lubbock, Texas.
That's the dusty city, huh?
The dusty city, baby. Not the windy city.
But the dusty city.
The dusty city. Hey, so just a quick overview of what this organization does. So this organization, the name of it, the Flatland Youth Fund.
Okay.
I love the way he named it just because West Texas is flat.
Ain't nothing, hey, you
It's
ain't
flat
seen a bump,
land.
bro.
It's flat land. I love it. So what he does, it's a nonprofit-based organization based out of Lubbock.
Yeah.
Whose goal is to eliminate the financial barriers for families.
Okay.
In that, they help kids not be sidelined due to financial circumstances and have constraints on what they can do.
Oh, that's dope. So they helping the babies get involved in the sports.
It's for the kids.
Gotta be.
And, I love that this company does this because it should always be for the kids.
Yeah.
And so just a couple things that they do. So like for students and parents, their parents would get these kids signed up. They apply for a scholarship.
Yeah.
If they're selected in the application process, what it does is it gets them a scholarship to be able to go and play for that organization, either basketball, football, soccer, flag football. I mean, whatever sport is there.
Yeah.
You have that opportunity. Another thing that they do is if you need equipment, sport equipment, they're partnered with Play It Again Sports out of Lubbock, and they will give you a gift card to go there and get the equipment you need to play.
Oh, that's dope, bro.
So it only makes sense that your company is able to do what they do for the kids.
Yeah.
This company is able to do what they do for the kids, and it just helps the kids all around.
Hey, take care of the babies.
Now, if you want to know how to reach these people, it is contact@flatlandyouthfund.org.
Yeah.
You can also go to the website at www.flatlandyouthfund.org. Now, understand, what I like about this is they try to partner themselves with a family and get these kids into sports.
Yeah.
And so that becomes very beneficial because, talking in our last podcast, we talked about how do we shape our kids through athletics?
Yeah.
So when we are getting these kids at a young age to be able to get into sports and start shaping that at an early age, we're just doing right by the kids.
So, hey, take care of the little ones, man.
So we love that. So thank you so much, Flatland Youth Fund, for being a sponsor of the Fourth and Whatever podcast. It truly does mean the world to us. Remember, once you go to their website, if you want to donate, that would be very, 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 very helpful. Understand, it's not a set donation. It can be $1, $2, $3. If you want to set it for a one-time payment, if you want to set it for an annual payment, you can do that.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so you have multiple ways that you can give to help this nonprofit organization be able to achieve not only their dream of helping kids, but be able to help kids.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, that's like the dream that we're after.
That's for
So,
sure, bro. Hey, so let's jump into the first topic today.
bet let's get it.
Hey, so I want to ask you, how do you as a coach deal with burnout through the season?
So listen, man, burnout in the season is a real thing.
Without a doubt.
And a lot of people don't realize that it can truly hinder not just your thoughts.
Yeah.
It can hinder your well-being. It can hinder your relationship.
Yep.
It can hinder your friendships. So how I handle burnout is like this. When I get to the point where I feel like I can't do it anymore, I got to take a step back and realize why I'm in this.
Yeah.
Because life is about burnout.
Yeah.
Everything you do, at some point, you're going to get burned out doing it. I mean, you eat the same meal every day, you're going to get burned out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of it. But I think that what I try to do for myself is I always try to put my mental in a place that's a happy place.
Yeah.
So for me, coming home to my wife, just hanging out.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because once I get home, I don't have to talk football. I don't have to be so on edge about everything. I can just take a step back, be a husband, relax, and call it good.
Yeah.
Now, what I do think is sometimes I think that when you're not working for the right person, burnout can be an even more harmful thing for you. Because sometimes, like, the guys above you, so the head coaches and things like that, they don't realize that you're burned out. And burnout, and here's the thing that I need everybody to understand. Burnout happens at different times for different people.
Yeah, for sure.
When I was a first-year coach, 1/3 of the way through the season, I was burnt out.
Yeah, you aren't used to it.
Yeah, I was already tired. I was like, why am I still doing this? I'm tired.
Yeah.
Then as I start moving forward and I start seeing that, hey, this is a grind, you got to get after it, it kind of starts changing your mental. You start realizing, okay, I can get through the non-district. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I get myself up for district now? Then you start, now that I'm about to approach year 7, it's last year was really about round 3, round 4.
Yeah.
That it like really hit me like, man, like I'm not sure I can keep doing this.
Yeah. It was tough, bro.
But the one thing that kept me just, hey, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other was the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, because even though the kids are tired, they're worn out, I always want to make sure I'm putting my best foot forward for them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I have no kids. So those kids at the high school are my kids.
Gotcha.
And then when I break it all the way down to my position group, those are even more of like my biological kids.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So when I see that they're still hungry to be successful, it's only right for me to put the right foot forward for them.
I got you.
And so that's kind of a little bit of how I kind of deal with burnout. What about you?
For me, it's definitely my wife, bro. Like, this is not possible without my wife. Number one, we got 3 little boys.
Yeah.
3 little curly-headed boys.
Yeah.
All right? And there's no such thing. When you have kids, and if you got kids, you'll feel me, there's no such thing as getting off work. Because you leave your job and you get home, and now you're walking into a new role of being a parent.
Yeah.
And you're walking into a role of being a husband. You
Yeah.
feel me? And so now I got 2 kids that are playing football. So when I leave football practice from work, I go to football practice for them.
Yeah.
Just trying to be present for them. So for me, burnout, because last year was the first year we had both of the men football, both of the older two in football, and I learned real quick, I better find a way to get rest in the midst of this, or I'm gonna be extremely stressed out
Yeah.
and overwhelmed pretty quickly. So what I actively started doing last year is being where my feet are at.
Okay.
I cannot be everywhere. I cannot do everything. Telling people no, I can't do that. You want me to come hang out this weekend? I'm sorry for you, bro.
Yeah.
I got to go home. I got to get some rest. And shout out to my wife once again. I feel like the fact that she understands and truly grasps what it's like to be a coach's wife, she gives me space. Even though I may have been gone all day, she'll give me space to come home and get a nap, and then get into on the weekends, get into like doing the family things, and that's huge for me. Because
Yeah.
without rest, bro, I turn into a crazy little wild man. Dog. Can't lie to you.
Hey, at 5'5", you can be a crazy little wild
Hey,
man.
Tasmanian devil, you feel me?
Hey, and that's big, man. First off, I gotta make sure I get this out because I definitely got put in the chop shop for it. Shout out to the coaching wives
All of them.
because it's the way a coach told me one time when I was coaching. He's an older coach. He was my all-star coach. He said there is a special place in heaven for coaching wives.
Yep.
And that came from Coach Wood, who's now the head coach at Iowa Park out in West Texas.
Yeah.
He said that, and it really started ringing true when they are legit superheroes.
Yeah.
Because at some point, it's like, you think that they're going to burn out, but then they don't.
Hey, oh my gosh. Speaking of that, if I may interrupt you,
Okay.
fourth round of the playoffs.
Okay.
We're playing Laporte.
Yep.
My wife finds out, hey, our son's Super Bowl is at, what was it, like 11 in the morning. 11 or I think it was 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Our game had a, 12 o'clock kickoff or something like that?
Yeah.
I think it was like 12 o'clock kickoff. My son's playing at Rice. We're playing at NRG. We have at that point, Theo was he was born in June. It was November or beginning of December.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You do the math, bro. 6 minus 12. 6 months. 6 months old.
Yeah.
Can't walk, can't do nothing for himself. It's freezing cold rain outside.
Yep.
This woman goes to our oldest son's Super Bowl.
Okay.
Watches the game, was locked in, drives across town, gets to the stadium as we score the game-tying touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown.
Okay.
And then is able to be there and support me at my game while she's juggling our 6 months old and got tag along Jordan, 7 years old, with her. The oldest one decided to stay, do the Super Bowl celebration, and his coach, shout out to Coach Brown, took care of him while he was over there, and to his wife because she helped take care of him too. But she drives across town juggling all this, and that's just one example. Every day she goes to work. She gets off of work. She picks up the boys, gets them ready for football practice, makes sure their homework's taken care of, takes them to football practice, and then does it all over again the whole week. Without my wife, bro, I got no shot at being an actual coach, bro.
Hey, and what you said there is top tier knowledge, because behind every good coach
Yeah,
is a good coaching wife.
without a doubt.
And if you don't have that, burnout will happen fast.
Yeah.
Really, really fast. Because when I got into this whole coaching thing, into this realm of, hey, I'm going to be a coach, this is what I always told myself. Whoever I decide to marry will have to be able to be married to me and the game.
Married to the game, you feel me?
You got to be married to us both.
Yeah.
Because again, I come from a family of coaches. So I've talked about this before. My grandpa, my dad, my 4 brothers, and my mom, at some point, all have coached.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, in different capacities. Like one of my brothers, he is a theater teacher, but he treats it like a team. And shout out to my brother Jake for getting the runner-up in the state 6A one-act play.
That's huge, bro.
I mean, the dude is incredible.
Hey.
He's incredible. First off, before I jump back into the burnout thing, when he was in West Texas, this is the name I gave him. He's the best in the West.
The best in the West.
Because when he was out there, I mean, just absolutely destroying people in the one-act world.
Yeah.
Nobody could even touch him with a stick.
You feel me?
Then he moves all the way to the Metroplex to a new school.
Yeah.
When he gets to that school, they've had success.
Mm-hmm.
But with success inside of his district, you have 3 other coaches who have all been super successful at the state level. So he had been to state before, but he's been successful at the state level up until this point. And so, he was a little nervous. Like, man, we're going to have to really bring it.
Yeah.
Well, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, my boy won all of those rounds.
That's tough, bro.
He makes it to the state when, I always ask him, man, how are y'all going to be? He says every time, we're going to be all right.
Yeah.
We're going to be all right. Well, then this boy comes out and gets second at state in 6A in one of the most competitive one-act realms there are in Texas.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, it's huge. So, again, shout out to my brother Jake for the state runner-up trophy
up, Jake.
at the state 6A one-act. But all of my family members have all been teachers and coaches.
Yeah.
So, and then, we even go into like deeper than that. Like my wife works in school. I got two brothers who wives also work in the school. So like, we don't know anything but school.
Yeah.
But when it comes to coaching, all of those wives had to understand that like, you're not just my partner. You're like my ride or die here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because whenever you're going through this world called coaching and this life called coaching,
Yeah.
it is legit a roller coaster.
Every day.
And I know, like, for example, here in Angleton, everybody sees all the pretty things on Friday nights, like, all the touchdowns, all the band, all the cheerleaders, they see all the pretty things, but they don't understand the grind to get to that.
Yeah, I mean, and it starts like we talked about the last episode or the episode before about what a year looks like in our program.
Yeah.
I mean, football season ends, and for you coached soccer this past year, so it's still a grind in that sense.
Yeah.
I coach track; it's a grind in that sense.
Yeah.
But truly, I think we do a good job, especially with this point of the year where we're trying to be home. Like right now, my wife's a yearbook teacher.
Yeah.
This is her Super Bowl right now, this time of year. It's
Yeah.
crunch time. She got to make sure all her deadlines are met. Who am I to act like I can't show up for her? Who am I to act like I can't take over for her the way she takes over for me at this during the season?
Yeah.
And so we get the summer. It's cool. But every morning, where we go in the summer?
Workouts, baby.
Go to the workouts, right? So she's at home with the boys, taking care of them because school's out for them. And then if I'm not intentional about making sure that we have fun and we continue to connect, now the relationship has burnout.
Yep.
And then it's something else that's a whole bigger thing. So I
Yes,
got to be
sir.
very intentional about making sure I'm doing right by her. But come July, the middle of July, it's go time again.
Yep.
And it's an understanding. And I think there's a lot of times whenever it sounds cool on paper to be a coach's wife or to be a coach, but the real reality is if you and your wife don't have an understanding, it's not going to just be burnout. It's going to be actual stress and turmoil that comes into play as far as y'all's relationship and just your well-being, you know?
Yeah, and I think that we see that like firsthand really in the coaching world. I mean, I can think of lots and lots and lots of coaches who their relationship is ended in divorce, and I hate that. I hate that for them just because of how much goes into being a coach in Texas.
Yeah.
And like you said, is if we're not being intentional with our relationships, if we're not being intentional with our kids, if we're not being intentional with our friendships, you can lose everything
Quickly.
And I think that what I want a lot of our viewers to understand is being intentional in that is not just being present.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we lose what that looks like, because I can be intentional with you, and then you can just be present with me.
Yeah.
And so I think both people have to learn to be intentional with their time, with how they carry themselves, with when they're together, what that looks like. Because again, burnout is going up every day.
Yeah.
Because like we talk about in Texas, I mean, it is super, super competitive. And so, I feel like every year we're starting earlier and earlier on trying to get that upper hand on the next season.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing that, you got to have those hard conversations with your person and say, man, hey, we're starting a little earlier. I hate that, but we're trying to put ourselves in a position to be successful.
Yeah.
And so it can make it very tough.
You said something real, though, as far as it's not enough to just be present. Because one thing my wife told me early on, like the first or second year I was coaching, she's like, you're here, but you ain't here.
Yeah.
Like if you get home and you're not really engaging with anybody, you're not really actually spending time with anybody, you may be physically there, but mentally you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so as a coach, you got to be very intentional about actually engaging your family, engaging the people that you care about when you're at home, so they know that what they do for you and who they are to you actually matters and means something, so they don't feel taken for granted. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And that's really all I'll say on that aspect as far as like the wives, because I think that it would be a solid topic to
Yeah.
have a coaching wives segment.
Oh yeah, let them talk, huh?
Yeah. Let them talk. Like,
Yeah.
because it's one thing hearing it from our aspect of it, but we see things a lot different.
Without a doubt.
So giving them the opportunity to have that voice on what it looks like to be a coach's wife,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a little different.
Without a doubt.
Because they're gonna like there's people who are gonna get to see firsthand knowledge of what that looks like. And
Yeah.
just, just a little snippet of that.
Yeah.
Think about what they gotta listen to in the stands.
Oh, yeah. They gotta hear people talk down on their husband
Yeah.
and
But
all the work they put into
Yep.
what they see on the field.
absolutely. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that because I know that's going to be a good talking point for them as far as what that looks like. But finishing up the topic about the burnout session, I just know for myself that as much as we give to everybody as coaches,
Yeah.
you got to have that person. This is the biggest thing that I learned how to not to burn myself out is I put myself around older mentors.
Yeah.
So I have two mentors that I call anytime I'm doing anything as far as football related.
Yeah.
One of them is Coach Taylor. He's out in dodgeball, and he was a phenomenal mentor for me.
Yeah.
I mean, just because we kind of spoke the same language, we understood where each other were coming from, and that just like elevated my coaching realm.
Yeah.
The first mentor I got was when I worked out in Temple. His name is Coach Mosley.
Yeah. Shout out to the Wildcats.
Yes, sir. He's just an old school black guy
Yeah.
who's going to do it very old school, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because when I talk to Mosley, he's going to tell me how it is.
Without a doubt.
He ain't going to sugarcoat it. He going to punch you in the face with whatever comment it is. If you're wrong, buddy, you're wrong.
He gonna tell you.
Exactly. And I love my relationship with Coach Mosley because that all started because he gave me a ride to coaching school, my very first coaching school.
That's real.
So that trip from Temple to San Antonio was just us just learning about each other.
Yeah.
And then I was only in Temple for a year, but me and him connect, I would say at least once a month, if not once every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And we just talk life. And, questions, how's it going? Sometimes that question right there goes a long ways
Yeah.
because now you're talking to somebody that one that you trust and two that has your absolute best interest.
Yeah.
But again, how I've prevented burnout is making sure that I have people in a position to talk to me that are higher up than me. Because when I talk to those guys, they've been through the trenches. They know what burnout feels like. They know how to overcome burnout. And so when I'm talking to those guys, it's, well, are you doing this to fill your cup back up?
Oh, that's huge.
And if I'm not doing this to fill my cup up, then you cannot cry and complain about burnout because you have all of these things at your fingertips. You're starting to burn out. Why are you spending more time at the school? You're starting to burn out. Why have you not invested in yourself?
Yeah.
You're starting to burn out. Why do you keep saying yes to everything when somebody asks?
Hey.
Those are questions that if you don't ask yourself, you get burned out.
Hey.
And so when I talk to those two guys, Coach Mosley and Coach Taylor, every time I talk to them, I feel completely rejuvenated and refreshed because those dudes know how to take my burnout and just pour some more water in my cup and just fill it back up.
Hey.
And that's why, let me interrupt before you jump
No,
in.
you got it.
I know it's about to be good.
You got it.
The biggest reason why I love that they do that is because when they do that to me, I'm able to do that to the kids. I'm able to pour more into the kids. Because once my cup gets empty, I have nothing else to give.
Yeah.
So with my mentors, when they're pouring into my cup, they're really pouring into second generations. They're pouring into me, who's a first generation, and I'm pouring into the next generation. And the wisdom I'm getting from those two guys, I'm giving to the guys we have now in hopes that those guys will give that to the third generation.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Hey, and that's the same thing for me. Is I think you got to have a circle that understands what you're going through. And it's even if you're not coaches, I'm fortunate enough that on the defensive side of our staff, I got people that are further ahead of me,
Yeah.
and they will tell me explicitly, "Hey, you need to get out of here, bruh.
Yeah.
You need to go be with your family.
Yeah.
Don't just sit up here. We got this. It's taken care of. Go be with your family."
Mm-hmm.
And so then, feeling the. I feel like it's a time you feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? Where I feel like I'm supposed to be in the building because everybody else is in the building
Obligated.
obligated. You feel me? To be
Yeah.
there, and I don't want to make anybody feel like I'm not working hard or I
Yeah.
don't care. And so getting that from them, saying, "Hey, go be where you need to be at," it means everything for me. And then talking to my brothers, one of my brothers during it was when we were in the fourth round. After that week, the week of the fifth round, he had called me, and he does a great job of calling me because he's like, "I ain't heard from you in a while, so I'm calling to check and see where you're at."
Yeah.
He said, as soon as I answered the phone, he's like, "I knew as soon as you answer the phone, hey, my boy is struggling right now.
Yeah.
He's at that point. He's like, I ain't heard him sound like this. Like I ain't heard him sound like this tired before." And like him saying that to me really helped me like snap out of it at that point
Yeah.
and begin to come out of it. And so just having people that know you as a person and how you operate is everything. Having people that are going to check you and tell you, "Hey, you're doing this or you're doing too much," is everything. And so, I mean, with our staff, as long as we've been together, it becomes like a family.
Yep.
To where you start telling each other like, "Hey, bro, you got to get away from here," because I mean, sickness don't stop during the season,
No, absolutely not.
and we all know when the seasons change, my allergies gonna act up.
They gonna go crazy.
My ears get stopped up, my nose start running, my head start hurting, and if I don't take the time to do what I need to do to take care of myself, it only gets worse.
Absolutely.
And so, being a part of our staff, I get that opportunity to take care of myself, and then push through it. And then like, "Hey, now get out of here. You done what you need to do. You took care of what you need to take care of. Get out of here." And then having family. I think this year was the first time, especially us going as deep as we won the playoffs, of having people really get to see like, dang, like it don't stop for them. Like, yeah, the holidays popped up. What's that mean to us?
Yeah. We're practicing on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that we're sharp, and we want to make sure, honestly, it becomes kind of a bonding thing for the team as well.
Yeah.
It's not just about practicing because we can't do without it, but practicing because we're in this together, and us coming to practice and it being a walkthrough is like lighthearted, where we actually get to check on the kids, on the other coaches, and
Yeah.
have a moment together. You feel me?
Yeah, and I think what you said there is really good nuggets. I think that, and this is for all people.
Yeah.
This is not just for coaches, what I'm about to say. What Coach Evans said at the start of his talk right there is huge. You have to know who is in your inner circle.
Yep.
You have to know, I'm going to say it again. You have to know who is in your inner circle, because there's people in your inner circle who want to elevate you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people in your inner circle who may want to push you down,
If you ain't careful.
and you just don't know.
Yeah.
There may be a snake in your circle. Now, again, I'm saying all that. I'm not saying like, hey, go check all your friends right now. Like, bro, are you for real? Are you really him?
You really got my back, my boy?
Yeah, like I need to know if you're really him. Cash at me $100.
He might not be him. I might not be him right now,
Yeah,
bro.
but I think that, like you said, is when you have an inner circle that's so tight knit, you don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
For myself, so I'm going to speak on my inner circle real quick before we jump over. So my inner circle really consists of really 3 guys that are in my tight inner circle.
Yeah.
So in my super tight, and these are people that I talk to, I would say either daily
Yeah.
or at least once a week.
Got you.
Daily or at least once a week. So we're going to lead off with Gene. So Gene, yeah. Playmaker Jones.
Playmaker Jones.
Yeah. So Jones is a guy that I met when I'm at my first job out in Temple.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a guy off the rip. I could see this is going to be a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this friendship right here is it. Like he has the it factor in this relationship.
Yeah.
What I like about Jones is Jones really does a great job of just being a true friend.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a lot. He doesn't want a lot. He just wants
I
presence.
want you to be you.
He wants you. He lets me be me.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to be anything but me.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about Jones. The next guy in that inner circle is a guy named Jamichael. So yeah,
What's his last name?
Prude.
I about to say, is it Jamaica Finley?
Nah, I know Jamichael Finley because
Yeah,
at my
yeah.
last school at dodgeball.
Yeah.
But this guy, his name is Jamichael. I met him when I worked at a summer camp when I was in college.
Yeah.
He was a high jumper at Lipscomb. And how we connected is we were both wearing track and field shirts from our college. And it was, hey, you do track? So he showed up 3 weeks late.
Yeah.
I was like, you do track? He was like, yeah. He was like, the reason I'm late is because I was high jumping at nationals in Eugene, Oregon.
Hey.
Hey, so Jamichael is that friend that I talk to when I need him to be real with me. Because Jamichael he cares about my feelings, but he doesn't care what my reaction is about how he cares about my feelings.
Yeah.
Hey, bruh, you're wrong. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. You're wrong. So this is where I'm coming from. This is kind of how you need to see it. And this is it. So that's Jamichael. Now, the last person I'm going to talk to sits right across from me in this podcast.
Hey.
My boy Evans. So things that Evan brings to the table is, and you got to remember, me and Evans have only known each other for 3 years. You wouldn't know that by how we hang out and talk.
Yeah.
But 3 years. What Evan brings to the table in my inner circle is just the polar opposite of what I need.
Yeah.
Because I'm loud. I talk a lot. I'm crazy. I coach like my head's on fire and I'm ready to assassinate somebody.
Yeah.
You are the opposite of who I am. But that's why we work so well together,
Without a
because
doubt, bruh.
with one kid, I may chew his head off and then you're going to come right behind me and be like, bro, do you see where he's coming from?
Yep.
So with that, it just puts us in a situation where we can really help each other out, because sometimes those kids need to be yelled at and it ain't you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. And
Every time.
Yeah, every time. And sometimes those kids need to just, like, they need to be pulled in tight and just talk to right there at them,
Yeah.
where they understand it all the way broken down.
Yeah.
And that's what you do a good job of. So
that,
just so you know, in my inner circle, like my inner circle right there is very, very, very tight knit.
Yeah.
And I know that all three of those guys in the inner circle I just spoke about are all guys I know would go to war for me, would take a bullet for me. You got me?
In the right circumstance.
So you gonna blast me like that on the podcast?
Nah, everybody used to be talking about, why would every scenario gotta be somebody dying, bruh?
Hey, just be like that.
Hey.
But with that being said, I know that if push came to shove, I know that inner circle is in my corner.
Without a doubt.
And so I try to make sure that whenever I have guys like that, I keep those guys close, not because I don't want to share them, but because real friendships aren't like that anymore.
No, they're not.
And so when you find guys or girls, whichever, that are that tight of a knit of people, you make sure you hold those people close to your heart, because you understand that it's not always like this with everybody.
Yeah,
so you
for
got to
sure.
cherish those moments.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, and I mean, on a day-to-day basis, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. You the person I'll be talking to, bro. Because the same thing, and I think one of the biggest things that I feel like you recognize quicker than most people about me is that while I be chilling, it doesn't mean I'm not gonna say the hard stuff, or it also doesn't mean that I'm not confrontational. A lot of people mistake me chilling for me not being confrontational, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
No doubt.
I got no problem with confrontation. I'm just gonna go about it and stay calm, which usually, as I've seen, really pisses people off a whole lot more because I'm chilling during the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think one thing I know for a fact when I'm talking to you, though, is that you're gonna shoot straight with me.
Every time.
And if I'm wrong, you're gonna tell me you wrong, bruh.
Yeah.
And so having that makes me, I feel like it helps me have a sober mind in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't get a chance to be too high. I don't get a chance to be too low. Because if I'm down, you like, bro, you kind of tripping, bro. It's
Yeah.
not that deep in the
Yeah.
same sense. So,
Yep.
and then, I mean, really, it's your wife, it's your circle, and making sure you are doing the things like you said with your the coach that you rolled from with coaching
Oh, yeah.
school.
My mentors. Yeah.
Making sure you're doing the things you need to do to fill your tank back up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, hey, thank you so much for just locking in on that burnout session. I thought that was a really good topic, because I think that we have to put a facade up a lot of times.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
In a way. And because, when you get out there, you want to be present.
Yeah.
And so I think at times when you're super burned out, you got to still be present.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a really, really good topic for us. And I hope that our people in the TikTok live and our people who are going to listen to the podcast, I hope that you really got some nuggets from that, because that is super, super beneficial.
Yeah.
But jumping over into the whatever part it is, we had one of my students who jumped into the chat,
Yeah.
and she wanted to know, do we enjoy coaching PE? And so I really got to know your knowledge on this, because again, understand, when we talk about this subject right here, it's going to be the good, the bad,
Yep.
and the
You
ugly.
feel me?
So let me hear it. Let me hear it. And we ain't got to go from the start, but I know we both been elementary PE teachers.
Gotta go back there.
So
bro.
we got to start back at ground level zero.
Yeah. So teaching elementary, bro, especially elementary PE, I think for sure. I said this about it. I think before we let somebody back into society, if we want to know if they're ready to enter into society, if they're in prison, they got to be able to handle a kindergarten class of 100.
Talk to him.
If you can't handle that, if you can't stay sane, can't stay calm in that setting, I just don't know if you're ready yet, bro. Because when you get the first week, and like for me at my school was 80% ESL students.
Okay.
Okay, so that first week, my kindergarten's coming in, and they don't know a lick of English, bro. So we're sitting in there. I'm having to speak broken Spanish to them
Okay.
to get them to do the stuff. It's a whole lot of demonstrating going on, and then it takes about 2 weeks to a month for them to get acclimated to being in school, and that's not nothing to do with language. Just a kid who's never been in school. That first week where you got the little buddy come in with his mama to bring him into the breakfast, and they bawling their eyes out, and
Yep.
mama leaves, and then I'm distraught
Yep.
the entire time. I had this little girl, my last year teaching elementary, bro. When I say she cried the entire day, she wasn't even defiant during the crying. I was like, all right, we got to stand up and do our stretches. She cried during the stretches. She did every stretch. No problem. I said, are you okay? She shook her head, no. Do you want to stop? She shook her head, no. I was like, okay, you let me know where you're at. And she continued to just be a part of it.
Hey.
And so, like, I think to me, the elementary is rewarding because of the kids. It's so many funny stories, bruh. It's so many funny stories. Hey, we can go back and forth on stories in a second.
Oh, man.
But elementary, it's rough. I mean, it's funny. The kids are funny. The struggle is the adults.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
You feel me? The adults, and I don't know what it is. When you're a PE teacher in an elementary, it's almost like the majority of the other teachers and even the admin at times feel like, bro, y'all are against me, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm putting out y'all's fires before they even happen.
Yes, sir.
I ended up suggesting that the kids in our third grade got recess during the day earlier because, bro, you're asking these kids to sit in class all day long, and they're 8 and 9 years old.
Yep.
And then you're expecting to not have the behavior issues, and they didn't get a break. They didn't get to go outside and play at all during the whole day. And then they get to PE, and you're like, why you got so many discipline issues? Bro, he's been sitting in class. He's bouncing off the wall. I got ADHD, bro. I get it.
Oh,
I get it, bro. If I sat in a room all day long and didn't do anything except for my assignments, yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to focus when I get to another setting. I'm
Squirrel.
probably going to be bouncing off the walls.
squirrel.
Every single day, every single time. But I enjoy elementary. So I'll stop here. How'd you feel about when you taught elementary?
Bet. So I'm going to jump into my time. So my time in elementary was at dodgeball ISD.
Yeah.
And so when I first got there, I really thought elementary was going to be a cakewalk. Like,
I had the
buddy,
same misconception.
buddy, I have elementary. This is about to be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Fast forward to when I got the job and I started going. Yeah, it was everything opposite of what we call a cakewalk. Listen, when you're teaching elementary PE, and understand that fifth grade, like you would think by that point, like they understand, they don't.
They don't.
So the biggest problem I ran into in elementary is kids not wanting to be partners with other kids.
Yeah.
And so these were my two rules. Alasia, what's up? Welcome back to it. We're talking about your topic that you brought up. So here we go. The things that really kind of I dealt with the most was, hey, you're going to be that kid's partner. So two of my rules. One, respect. Hey, my guy right there. My guy right there says my faves. That's Coach Mosley. Coach
what's
Mosley, we
up.
just gave you a shout out a second ago when we talked about all the stuff that you did for me, man, being a good mentor for me. So thank you so much, Coach Mosley, for being a solid mentor for me. It really did mean the most. And then again, in my first year, we just talked about a second ago how every time I call, man, you just fill my cup up so I can pour into the next generation.
Hey,
So
he came at the right time,
yeah, he
man.
came in at the right time. So, Coach Mosley, man, shout out to you, man, for really filling my cup up every time I give you a call and just speaking life into me and just being real. Because again, the wisdom you've given me, I'm able to give down to the next generation. And hopefully that generation will take that wisdom to the next one. So, Coach Mosley, again, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yes,
It
sir.
truly does mean the absolute most. But my two rules that I have in my gym class when I was doing elementary were you got to respect everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody asks to be your partner, you're not allowed to say
Can't
no.
say no. You got to, hey.
And I did that because most of the time, what you're dealing with in elementary PE is kids crying because I said, hey, partner up. And then so and so goes and grabs the cool kid, and then this kid who's already their really good friend already wants to be their friend.
Yeah.
So now I have kids crying in my face about, well, I wanted to be friends with so and they said no, and now I'm having to sit them out, and it's just so much that goes into it. So I just avoid all that by just saying, hey, you can't say no to anybody.
Hey,
You
that's smart,
have
bro.
to be their partner whenever we say it's partner time.
See, hey, just to interject real quick.
Yeah,
The way I combated that is I invented the waffle.
talk to
You
me.
know what the waffle is, right?
Is that when you make them lock their hands like this?
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no. I be talking. Hey, we gonna fight today, or we gonna have a waffle? A wall full of kids in timeout because y'all won't get along. You feel me? Hey,
That boy says, sit him on the wall.
hey, we gonna have a waffle. So we have 1 and 2 kids to go to timeout. I'm like, hey, we almost got a waffle. And as soon as that happens, as soon as I say that, these kids recognize, oh snap, we kind of tripping. And because here's the thing, I got ADHD. I'm not saying this is right, what I
Yeah.
say next, but I got ADHD, and a lot of time I put a kid in timeout and forget they're there.
Oh, me too. That's ADHD to the T.
You feel me? Up, slap hands.
Boom.
But so the kids know if I go to timeout, it's a chance he's gonna forget that I'm over here and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get to come play.
Absolutely.
All right, so that eliminated the majority of problems because we don't want to have a wall full of kids in timeout.
Hey.
So we just gonna go ahead and not create the waffle. Me and you beefing, we'll beef after this.
Yeah.
We'll squash whatever's going on right now so we can actually play today.
Yeah, that boy Coach Mosley said a wall full of kids sitting out. Hilarious. Hey, it's like that sometimes because in the same sense, like you just said, is I caught myself like that too.
Yeah.
Is I'll put a kid in timeout and you get just so locked in on everything else
Yep.
with all the other kids that you look up and that kid's like tugging on your shorts like, is it
Yeah.
okay if I go back and play? And I'm like, bro,
Oh.
I forgot you were even sitting over there. Because 9 times out of 10, like they're doing what they're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
just sitting there. But you put them in like the most furthest spot in the
Yeah.
gym that you never go to, and then you're like, oh, I definitely forgot you were sitting over there. But my time in elementary, what I will tell you, really grew me as a coach. Not just in the classroom, but as an actual coach as well. What it did for me is it forced me to realize that I can't speak to everybody the same.
Well, yeah.
And you learn that really quick because how my schedule was set up is I would go like first, second, and third, I would be at the elementary.
Yeah.
And then fourth, I would be at the high school for varsity football.
Okay.
And then for fifth and sixth, I would be back down at the elementary.
Yeah.
So understand how my brain has to work right here. I'm going, oh no, little Johnny, don't do that. Why aren't you blocking that person like that? Oh, hey, little Johnny, why are you doing that? Like, so
Yeah.
getting my mind to flip back and forth like that was one of the toughest things. And then obviously it's like, you're talking to elementary kids, you say shut up and they think the whole world is coming to, yeah, the whole world is crashing down.
Yeah.
When like 30 minutes ago, I just told this kid to shut the hell up. And so, you're like trying to make sure you're like watching your words.
Yeah.
But my time in elementary was like very, very, very beneficial to my coaching career because it taught me that when you don't do those fine motor skills at that level, they're in really bad shape when they get to high school.
Yep. Hey, that's funny you said that. So the thing that I made sure my kids could do is throw the ball
Oh, absolutely.
and catch the ball.
You got to be able to do
And
those.
again, my school was 80% ESL.
Yeah.
So we finna get out on some soccer too. You feel me?
Hey.
Them kids taught me how to play soccer. Real talk, bro. I had never played organized soccer. I only ever played pickup games. These kids out here, I ain't gonna lie, the first year I was there, them fourth graders were mixing me up a little bit, bro.
Oh,
I
boys had you in a
said,
blender.
I said this can't happen no more. So I got locked in. I learned a little bit more about soccer and how to control the ball. And so now when I'm teaching the soccer lessons, those same kids are engaged because I can tell he spent time
Yep.
with it and he actually cares about what we're interested in.
Yep. And so I think that's like super, super beneficial whenever you're able to kind of set it up like that when you have kids who are able to do that. The next thing that I did in elementary PE is I put myself in a position where I let the kids kind of take responsibility for what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the time did I pick the game. I gave them the ability to pick. And so when my kids were being good, I would give them that ability to be able to decide, hey, what game do y'all want to play today?
Yeah.
And because the thing is like when they're that young, you want to make sure they're all engaged because we talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What grade is the toughest grade to teach?
Third grade.
Third grade. Listen, all my viewers, third grade is awful.
Yeah. And when your personal biological kid's in third grade, it's not fun either.
No, third grade made me want to end it all. Third grade is that grade that is it's just a weird age.
Yeah.
You have this kid who like doesn't understand his personality,
At all.
doesn't understand friend groups, and doesn't understand friends.
Yeah.
And then on the same token, you have this kid who is Mr. Cool Guy who knows exactly what he wants to do when he gets older.
Got older brothers and sisters.
Got older brothers and sisters, has kind of been in the game for a little bit.
Yeah.
And now I have these two kids who are teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to be a psychiatrist for two polar opposite kids.
Yeah.
But I still got these other kids back here who are wilding out because I'm stuck on these two.
Yep.
So, I mean, it absolutely makes it very difficult. So, we can both agree third grade is really, really tough.
Yeah.
So, did you ever get to go into the junior high level?
I did, and I'm about to go back, bro. I'm about to go back to the junior high.
You are. But I'm talking about junior high PE.
Yes, I have done junior high PE.
Okay, let me hear it.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. It was rough for me, man.
Yeah.
Because I think junior high is a time period where nobody likes themselves. And so since they don't like themselves, they don't like anybody else for the most part.
Yeah.
And so now the only thing I know to do for them as a kid is a lot of the kids just I'm gonna try to clown my teacher. I'm gonna try to do something to my teacher.
Yeah.
And I'm not that guy. Like, I could talk mess better than y'all, and I could play the game the way you want to play the game. I can get down the same way. But junior high, once you got past their insecurities, is actually really enjoyable and really rewarding
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
because now you're starting to help them become a person. And I feel like that's what a lot of times is missed when it comes to junior high kids is that you are starting to help them shape the identity of who they are. And so you being consistent and not holding a grudge against them kids
Yep.
makes a world of a difference for them.
I think that so I've done junior high too. This was actually I only did junior high when I was doing student teaching. I never actually have been contracted at a junior high. But the one thing that I learned in my time at the junior high is this is your time where you can make or break a kid.
Yeah.
This to me, sixth grade is when the confidence is found.
Yeah.
It's either found or lost.
Without a doubt.
And so I think when I was doing my student teaching, that's like one of the big things I learned when I was in White House ISD. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes.
Hey.
When I was in White House ISD, that is one of the biggest things that I learned there is you have to watch what you say because this is a confidence builder or destroyer when you make this comment.
Yeah.
And not that you're like saying things like outlandish that's like putting them down, but just, hey, why'd you do this? Or why'd you do that? And then now they're starting to question themselves instead of the situation.
Yeah. I remember me when I was in sixth grade, I had a scenario like that. I had a teacher that didn't like me for whatever reason, and she did everything she could to block me from getting in advanced classes.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I got to be a sophomore in high school that I was able to get back into them because she did everything possible, and I'm making A's in her class and everything. She did everything possible to block me, which made me just feel like, dang, like I could do everything right and still people won't believe in me.
Oh man, hey, and that's to me that's like super tough when you're in that situation like that. When like if the teacher's not for the kids, who are?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know, kids are gonna be outlandish.
Yeah.
They're gonna do, say, act how they want to,
Without a doubt.
and so the teacher has to be the true voice of reason in that situation.
Yeah.
Because if they're not, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But let me jump on into this high school experience. Let me
High
hear
school
it.
is funny, man. High school is funny because you got a little person as far as their personality. Like they're becoming their own true person. Like they're trying to find it in junior high and see, and when they get to high school, now they're starting to grasp it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so you got most of the kids, in a lot of ways, they want to be left alone in the sense that they don't want you nagging at them.
Yeah.
They want to be engaged. They want you to care about what they're doing and what they're into for sure. But they want to be left alone in the sense of, hey, just don't be on me nonstop. And so I tell my kids the same way I told them my elementary kids, if you want me to leave you alone, follow these basic rules. It's a high school, bro. You know what the expectation is.
Yeah.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yep.
Don't be talking reckless to nobody, because if you talk reckless to them and they retaliate, you invited it. And when I write my report, if I got to write one, I'm definitely going to put in there what you did and what your part was.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, when they want us to write these kids up, they want it verbatim
What they did.
how it was said.
Yeah.
So if this kid said this,
I'm putting that in there.
I'm putting it. And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes it's like the most uncomfortable thing. This kid told me.
And then
And
you're
you're
like, dang, I got to really put this in
Nah, for
writing,
real,
bro.
Hey, shout out to Kylie, which she said she loves second period.
Hey.
My second period TA. Shout out to you, Kylie, for the second period TA.
You feel me?
So, hey, Car, what's good? Thank you so much for tuning into TikTok Live as well. Hey, so my high school experience.
Yeah.
So this is my first high school that I was able to do PE at.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is my first one. And so in the high school level, some things that I've learned in my time at high school is it all sounds good to make sure every kid is active.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Sounds nice.
Yeah. So, you know, like when people walk in and they see these kids like not being active, it all sounds good.
Yeah.
But when you have 50 kids in a gym, that makes it very tough.
Hey.
And so what I have learned in my time when it comes to being a high school PE teacher is I want you to be comfortable with what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned at the high school level is kids will crash out when they start feeling uncomfortable.
Like your speaker, huh?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that on here. We're not going to talk about that on here. But yes, like my speaker did. But, and not even like in an uncomfortable way as far as like things being said, just, I don't want to play basketball. So why are you going to make me get up and play basketball?
Yeah.
I decided to wear a dress today. I don't want to play dodgeball. I don't want to play kickball. I don't want to be sweating, and all those things. So I got to the point in my high school teaching where it just came down to this. If you're not bothering anybody and you're actively doing something,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yep.
So my kids know when they walk in my gym, you're going to walk around that gym for 20 minutes.
Yeah. I got
At least the minimum 20 minutes.
left in front and right.
After that, if you have something you need to do and you want to sit down and do it, go do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop you from doing it because I'm just creating more problems by forcing you to get up and run around.
Yeah.
Because now what I've created is not a safe space for you.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, that's the thing is you can ask any of my kids in any of my PE classes over the last 3 years. Like, my gym has turned into a safe space because they understand that, hey, when you come in here and talk, I'm letting you do, say, act how you need to express what you feel like.
Yeah.
Now, if those things that you do break outside of my rules or my barrier, then I'm going to put you in your place. Hey, we're not talking like that. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But they have the ability to come in and just be them. I think that's one thing that I do really good in my high school PE class is I don't force any kid to be something they don't want to be.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be an athlete and run around the gym and be sweaty, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because once I make you do that, once I force you to do that, now you feel uncomfortable. Now I'm going to be dealing with disciplinary problems. Now we have problems. There's a reason why this year in my PE class, only 2 kids got rolled up all year.
And they probably forced you to write
They
those up.
forced me to write them up because it was like, hey, you have to write this up.
Yeah.
And so, in my 6 years of teaching, I've written up a total of 3 kids, and 2 of them were this year.
Yeah.
So I do not like writing up kids because I feel like I can take care of my gym class in my gym. So I'm not gonna go put more stress on the APs or the principals by sending kids down there.
Yeah.
So, Alasia, to answer your question that you asked me, do I enjoy teaching PE? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it really is a great time because obviously it falls directly in line with coaching. I mean, it's healthy. It's something you can do forever if that's what you choose to do. You get community. Most of the time they're in there hooping around, so you get teamwork.
Yeah.
I mean, you get all those things in a PE class that you necessarily wouldn't always get in a math, reading, social studies, English, whatever class like that.
Yeah. I think too, we make a good point of letting these kids that want to be adults just be kids again.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens in our gym. Like,
Yeah,
kids
absolutely.
get to be kids again, and it's not something that it's not pressing. It's not something where you've been somebody on top of your head the entire time. I'm gonna walk, and then I get to be me and just chill out.
Absolutely. And I think that that's big is that, we live in a time now where kids are growing up fast.
Yeah.
And they're forced to grow up fast.
Without a doubt.
And so when they're able to come to my gym, like you said, they're able to just be kids. And I don't want to say let you. I give you that opportunity to not have to think,
Yeah.
to not have to really act. You just get to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the kids really enjoy about my PE classes is just being authentic in there with, hey, you can just be in here. You don't have to act a certain way. You don't have to be anything you don't want to be. You get to literally just be in the presence of this gym with other people and be you.
Yeah.
And so, and I think that's absolutely huge just because, again, I think that transition between junior high into high school, you kind of are starting to kind of figure out who your friend group is, where your personality is. And then obviously at the high school level is where you start kind of getting the relationship problems and,
Yeah.
and all those things. And now you're starting to kind of deal with those things. But outside of that, I mean, to me, high school PE is very, very enjoyable just because, again, you give them the opportunity to just be who they want to be.
Yeah. I think the only thing I don't really enjoy about at the high school is high schoolers think they're the best finessers in the world, bro.
Every time.
And it's not like to me. I tell my own kids this, and I tell the high schoolers this: you are not gonna out finesse me, bro. Every way you're trying to finesse, I've already thought of, and it's a chance I may have already done it, and was successful at getting away with it because I'm better at finessing than you. So please don't try to finesse me. If you're trying to do something, just be straight up. Like the kids that walk out the back of the gym, and then they're shocked when they get to the other side of the hallway, and I'm standing right there. Like, bro, come on, like just get back in the gym.
Yeah.
And then they have this defense, and like, I'm gonna stop you right there. There's no defense for you walking out of class.
At all.
It's not like you walked out and we're going to the restroom. Because if you're doing that, you'd have walked out the front.
No, I agree.
So make it make sense. And then they end up back in class, feeling frustrated. But outside of the finessing, and once you kind of prove to them that you can't finesse me, things are pretty straight. It's pretty chill.
Yeah, I agree. It gets very, it's not a very hard job,
Yeah.
but it can be challenging.
Yeah.
It's not hard, but it can be challenging.
It's a balancing act in a sense.
Yes. And I think that once you decide to take the challenges with the good, that's when you have a solid PE class.
Yeah.
Because you can't expect it to always be perfect. You can't expect for it to be so, this is how we're going to do it. We're a military institute. You can't do it like that.
Yeah.
You got to give them the freedom to be. Like I said, you got to give them the freedom to be who they want to be, how they want to be, when they want to be it. And so I think that becomes very beneficial for our high school kids is just letting them kind of find their way through their own emotions,
Yeah.
find their way through their own relationship. And then the thing I love the most about high school and high school PE is it gives them the opportunity to fall and then get back up.
Yeah.
Because again, I think in high school PE, it gives you can start seeing what kids are just I'm just here.
Yeah.
I'm just here. I don't really care. I'm just here. And you start seeing that more so because, again, if you're going to purposefully skip PE, then nothing else matters.
At all.
I mean, buddy, this is the easiest grades you're going to get. So if you're going to try to finesse me in PE, it's a problem.
Big one.
Going my last point, and then we can end this podcast. My last point that I'm going to go off about the finessing. Nothing makes me laugh more. So this week, finals week.
It's the worst.
So we're going to talk about a finesser. No names, just the act. This kid plays soccer in my class every day.
Yeah.
Every day he plays soccer in there. This week at finals, he's not playing soccer and he's walking around with his backpack on. So at this point, I'm already like on edge.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, big red flag. I'm already on edge. So then, and he always plays like around my gym. Like he's never in one spot. He's everywhere. So he's just like aimlessly walking around with his backpack on. Well, then he decides to lean up against the wall and pretend to be on his phone by the back door. So at this point, like I'm already just like, I'm like looking down, but like looking up at his area. And so I'm like, buddy, you're not about to finesse me. I can see the writing on the wall. I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Well, then, I give him the fake old, I'm looking at my computer, blah, 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 blah. They don't realize that when they walk out my back door, it's not like a fast slamming door. No. Like you open it and then the retention slows the door shut. So I see that my door is now been opened.
Yeah.
So I walk out the front gym. I walk down, look down the hallway that they try to escape down, and I'm looking at him like this, just
nice little standoff, huh?
Like, bruh. He's like, how'd you even know I walked out? I'm like, buddy, you play soccer in my class every day. Randomly, you're walking around with a backpack on your back, and you don't think that that's a red flag?
Yeah.
And this is my favorite comment to make every time. You do realize that I have a college degree, and I'm not dumb.
Hey, that's where we are, bro.
You do realize that, like you said, I'm a finesser, so you're not going to finesse me.
Yeah.
Because everything you're doing, so I gave him the little lowdown scoop, which we're out of school now, so I can give the scoop on if you really wanted to make your way out of the gym, how you would do it. This is how. You would start by walking around with your backpack first, and you're going to set your backpack in a place that you never have, close to the back door.
Yeah.
Then when I am like inputting grades or I'm talking to someone over here, I'm going to slide my backpack out of the back door already. So the backpack is currently outside of the gym. So I'm not worried about him catching me like a red flag with my backpack.
Yeah.
Next, I'm going to be playing soccer, kicking it around. And then the ball's randomly going to go over in that area as I'm watching the coach. If he's still talking, I kick it to my person. I walk out the door, and now my backpack's already there. I'm out there. I pick my backpack up. I walk down the hallway, and now I'm gone. But we don't think that far.
No.
We think very much in the moment right now, right here.
I just got to get out the door.
I got to get out the door right now. You want to know what it reminds me of?
What?
This is really my last comment. It reminds me of the 10 escaped inmates from New Orleans.
Buddy got caught on the bench, sleep, bro.
Buddy, them boys went out of a wall and then said, LOL, it was easy.
Yeah, bro. That was the beginning.
We have people in education right now. We have kids that are in school who are getting caught sneaking out of a gym. And we have 10 convicted people sneaking out of a maximum security prison.
Yeah. They thought it out too, bro. They thought that out.
Hey, it's like that. But here you go, man. That's it for the PE if we like it. Yes, Alasia, speaking for myself, I do love teaching high school PE. Coach Evans.
I love it too.
Perfect. So, Coach Evans, man, you can wrap this up, man. It was a good podcast. I thought it was really fun. We talked about some just real life talking points. So here we get it.
Hey, it's another episode of the Fourth and
Whatever
Podcast.